Hello, everyone. It's Kimberly Johnson with the Revolutionary Living Institute and OneYearAlone.com. I'm making this video because something kind of intense is happening to me, and I want to be transparent and share. I think that's like the way that I will make the biggest impact in the world. Um, so something that I want to share with you guys is that something I am practicing is I am practicing giving. And um, some of you may not know, or some of you may know, but I have a homeless brother, and when he was younger, was a meth addict, and then kind of ended up having a little bit of like mental illness from that, and then he, but he is still homeless. He is in Hawaii, and he's like the most amazing man. He's funny and brilliant, and he just has had the circumstances that he's had in life, and so it's taken me a long time to kind of come to peace with his journey and just like know that like everything is the way it's meant to be, and for some reason that's his journey here. And so in that, I have like had a lot of conversations about the homeless community, and it's part of the reason I like being in cities is I like the diversity of cities, and I appreciate the diversity of the population here. And a lot of that is the homeless population. And, something that I used to be like is I used to not be super giving. I used to kind of cling and attach to my things. And I have decided to not be that way anymore. It's like the quote in the Bible when Jesus says, "Sell all of your worldly things and follow me." And in my interpretation of that, it's like do that so that you have no attachment to this world, so that you understand that everything eternal is real, and nothing in this realm is real because it's not eternal, right? This is all impermanent. Nothing here is permanent except for what is in us and what I would call like our spirit or our spiritual self. So anyway, I've been giving, right? I've been practicing this, like giving away my worldly goods. And I've been practicing it like this. I've been just giving what people have been asking me for. So if somebody asks me for something, I give it to them. And, most of the time people don't ask for much. Sometimes people ask for really random things, like to go to a very specific food place. That happened the other day. And I just do it, and I do it from a giving heart. I do it from a place of like not wanting anything in return. And it's really a practice for me of detachment and like letting go and really, really understanding what is real versus what is not real. And but there are moments like today where I really struggle. And today I'm driving in the car, and there's this gentleman on the side of the road, and he's holding a sign, and the sign just says, "Please help a military American uh, who is kind of in a bad stream of luck." And it says like "thank you" or something. It says like "help, um, you know, a military man who is having bad luck," and it says "thank you." And I always search for my car because I usually have like a few ones or some change or maybe even some food that I usually try to give. And today all I had was a 10. And at first I was like I noticed in my body this feeling. It's this feeling, and I know this feeling well. And this is the reason I'm making this video, is because um, I think when we study mindfulness, or when we study like these spiritual lessons or these spiritual teachings, um, you know, one thing that I deeply believe is like most suffering comes from thoughts. Actually, I believe all suffering comes from thoughts. But there are these moments when I have this intense body sensation, and then I get very confused and I get very stuck in a loop. And today I had this like amazing experience, but also this like intense experience where I had this 10. This guy's standing on the side of the road. I'm parked right beside him, like at a stoplight. And and I was like, okay, like, why don't I want to give him the money? Like, why don't I want to give him the money? And it was like, well, it's $10, and that's a lot of money, and I live in a city that's so expensive, and like all of these stories, all of these things. And so I decided, okay, process this later, just give him the $10. Like, you want to be giving, this is what you have, give it to him. And so I rolled in my window and handed him the 10, and his face was like, that's such a generous gift, he said. That's such a generous gift. He said, thank you. And I just looked at him and I said, bless you, like, God is so good. And I drove away. But this feeling in my body did not go away. And it continued, and it continued. And it was kind of like in my jaw, like, it was like this tensing of my jaw and this feeling in my heart and in my chest. And so as I'm driving, there's tons of traffic in Denver right now because there's lots of road work going on. So I was like stopping, going. And every time I stopped, I would like try to just be with that feeling and try to understand it and just like allow it to give me information. So I was like listening to it and being with it. And it was like a very clenched jaw. It was like this like survival thing. And I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, what is this such intense stress or anxiety feeling within me? And what I realized is that if I believe all thoughts are the root of suffering, then what is this body feeling? Because it feels like suffering, right? Like I want to be giving, but something else is going on. So what I discovered is that when we have intense body reaction, and the body reaction kind of takes over everything else, and we almost can't get rid of it, and it almost takes over even our thought process. Like we can't even like process what's going on because it's so intense. It is thoughts that are so ingrained, or maybe fears that are so ingrained that come up as thoughts that literally they're just so on autopilot and so deep within that we don't even know that it's a thought that's creating it. So it seems like it's a body thing, right? So we can like blame it on the body and we can say like, well, but there weren't any thoughts attached. It was just this body sensation. But the truth is that there are thoughts attached. We just don't hear them because they're so on autopilot. And I realized as I'm sitting there and I'm being with these feelings and they're slowly dissipating. And the thoughts keep coming up of like fear of scarcity of money, fear of not having enough, fear of like, do I actually believe that God will provide for me? Like, if I'm going to be this giving in life, is this sustainable? Can I continue giving this way? And the truth is that if I believe that God is all powerful, or that universe or spirit is all powerful, and that really that the actual like homeostasis or the actual being of life, or like what I actually am, is abundant and it has nothing to do with these worldly things like a $10 bill, then yes, I can trust that I can be giving and that I will receive back and I will be taken care of. But if I question it all, which I do, right? Like I question and I know this, and it's something that I'm trying to ground myself in my trust of my spiritual beliefs, and what I do really believe to be true. It's just a practice, right? So if everything in this life is a learning device, then this is a beautiful learning device. Because it came up, I gave the 10, it came up, and it was not going away. I had to sit with it pretty much the entire drive home. And in sitting with it for that long, I noticed a few things. One, it went away. My jaw is no longer tight. My heart, I don't feel anything. Two, I had to sit with and understand what was actually going on. So it was first a body reaction. It was actually first a thought, but I didn't even recognize the thought because it's such an autopilot thought process, right? This like idea of scarcity, which most people that I have talked to, I will not state anything else, but most people that I talk to, especially people that hire me as coach, struggle with this idea of money and this scarcity around money. And like, I could have a whole video series about that. But so it's something that's totally ingrained in our culture, and it's something that's totally ingrained even in me. And so it was really nice to like sit with it, allow the feelings to go away. Like, if we sit with something long enough, it will change. That's just the truth. Try it. Don't believe me. Like, try it. If you sit with something long enough, it goes away. It shifts. It changes. It's not permanent. Nothing is permanent. So that was the first thing. The second thing is like I really got to like understand with sitting with the feelings what the thought process was of like, okay, I know this. If I believe this is a thought, then what are the thoughts? And And I got very clear. It's just like scarcity and questioning my faith. Um, and so I just began practicing, like really saying like, okay, God, like let go and let God, same as my last video. Like, I don't have the answers to like all of my faith questions, but what I can do is I can pause and I can pray and I can say, so I was in my car and I was just like, okay, God, like transform this into truth, like transform those feelings and these thoughts into truth. Like, please, just as I continue walking this path, please keep showing me that if I give, that I will receive. And that, it's like the quote that I keep saying in my blog and on social media is to have, give all to all. To have, give all to all. And it's what I've been practicing. And honestly, in this moment, I feel deeply at peace. Obviously I haven't like gained anything back except for knowledge and deeper, like maybe spiritual deepening of like my truth. But giving to him was right for me. And it's funny because then I was like thinking, I went to a coffee shop this morning and I didn't have any money, and the guy gave me my coffee, and I'm gonna go back tomorrow and I'm gonna buy another coffee, but I'm gonna give him, pay him for both. But in that moment, I was given to. This guy doesn't know me. I live in a huge city, and he was just like, it's okay, like take the coffee. So it always comes back. It is this like, it's like when I believe and I start going deep into my spiritual place, I do understand that everything is happening simultaneously, and that this, past, present, future, that like present is all that is always, and everything is always happening at the same time in this present moment. And that's like a really hard concept to grasp, and I'm not trying to like place that on any of you to try to grasp, but it is interesting to begin thinking about. And it's like, even though the coffee was given to me in the past, it actually wasn't, right? Like everything's happening simultaneously. So as I give, I'm receiving always. There is no like, if I give more, then I'll get more. That's not my motivation. My motivation is like to genuinely like live the lifestyle of giving, and like giving all that I have, and walking my talk and walking in my belief system, not just like, saying that I believe this and, preaching this over here and teaching my clients this, but actually walking my talk. It feels pretty freaking good. It's humbling. It's humbling because I am taken care of, and I feel so grateful for that, and I feel grateful. I feel extremely grateful for that. So yeah, I just brain dumped on you. I hope you got something from it. I thought the story was meaningful, and I don't know why I'm supposed to share this, but there it is. You guys are all amazing. Please share in the comments below like what you got from this, what comes up for you. Yeah, all the magic, all the love. And you can find me again on www.oneyearalone.com or revolutionarylivinginstitute.com. Also, again, I want to say that my new website is about to launch, which is going to be really exciting, and I'm super grateful for that as well. But until next time, I hope to hear your voices below, and peace and love.